Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based critics hold forth about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey.
It's so
Very
good to see
excited.
you. Just so everybody in the listening audience knows, we will very soon do our top 5 movies of the year episode. But before that, we need to talk about a couple of films that are out right now. One of them is Godzilla Minus One, the Japanese version of the Godzilla saga. And we're also going to talk about Saltburn, Emerald Fennell's latest movie. She did, if you recall, A Promising Young Woman a couple of years ago. Was that last year or a couple of years ago?
She
One
did
or two. It was recent.
The one's
3 years ago, actually.
3 years ago. Well, okay.
Ah.
Well, then her next feature was long overdue, and we're excited to talk about that. First, though, we're going to jump into Godzilla Minus One. Before Brooks tells us the story, let's listen to the trailer.
あんなもん倒せっかありません。
東京がまた火の海になるのは見たくない。
戦争が終わってないんです。
今度の戦いは未来を生きるための戦いなんです。
ゴジラマイナスワン。
Okay, Brooks, take us through this one.
Well, it's thankfully pretty easy. I mean, it's just after World War II, and Japan's in ruins as it is. Kamikaze pilot makes his way to an island for what he claims needs to be repairs, and while he's there, all hell breaks loose, and a giant monster eats everybody except for him and one other person. And then it jumps, and we catch up with the pilot, and soon enough, our favorite destroyer, Godzilla, returns to take them out and just rub some salt in the wound.
What do you guys think the chances are that this will be the most watched subtitled movie since Crouching Tiger?
It's already the highest grossing
Mhm.
Japanese movie in America.
I think it's amazing that it's
Theatrically.
doing so well. And to release it right before Christmas, I think was really
And they're
smart.
expanding it. Yeah, they're expanding it. It's getting way more IMAX screens.
Yeah. If you're in Utah, there's more screens that have it up here now. I got friends who are going to see it for a second time because now they can see it in IMAX.
Well, let's dig in. Adam, what did you think of this? You guys saw it quite a bit ago. I saw it yesterday, so
Just
my opinions
last
are...
week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just
Mhm.
Sunday.
What'd you think, Adam?
It's very loud. So
Yes.
you may want to bring some earplugs. It was almost like being at a rock concert. So I love Godzilla movies. I grew up watching them. As an adult, though, I was able to go back and appreciate them more because I saw like the original Japanese version of it, the Criterion Collection, which is a great pick it up if you don't have it.
Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome. Happy Giftsmas. The way it was presented to us was very schlocky and very kind of over the top, whereas to the Japanese people, it was more of a tragedy. And this one has a lot more in common with that than like the recent ones we've got with Monarch and everything else. While Godzilla is very much the star of the show when it shows up, this is a very deeply personal human story. It's about our kamikaze pilot coming home, dealing with PTSD, dealing with the shame in his culture of being a failed kamikaze pilot. You know, saving your own life instead of going out in a blaze of glory like you were supposed to. And I wasn't quite expecting all of that aspect of this movie. But at the same time, that's exactly what I wanted. And I just didn't know it at the time because you get to see this person. He comes back, he meets someone, he's afraid to fall in love, he's helping raise his child. All the meantime, chasing after Godzilla like you're in Jaws. And I'm sure you're going to talk about that, Brooks. But it was fantastic. It was a story that was completely different than I expected. And then when Godzilla shows up, I mean, wreaks havoc like you've never seen before in a movie. Like his fire, like nuclear fire breath thing. I was like, oh my gosh, like this movie only was made for $15 million. And I think they spent $5 million on each shot of him using his powers.
I can't believe that $15 million number. It seems like it's a $150 million movie. It is so good in terms of its special effects. It's incredibly good in terms of its set and costumes, and all of the trappings, all of the visual trappings are really first rate. You're right about the volume, Adam. People should be aware that most Atmos theaters play this at an incredibly high level. So if your hearing is the slightest bit sensitive, this is definitely an earplugs movie for sure. Brooks, I want to hear what you think of it too, but before you get into it, can you explain the title?
Well, the title is the play on the fact that, you know, they've just been through their own devastation, and then Godzilla comes and brings them down to an even lower level.
So it's about like the baseline being we lost a war and now we
Mhm.
have this to
And
deal
now
with.
we get to deal with a giant creature eating everybody.
You've seen a lot of Godzilla movies too, Brooks. Did you like this one?
Oh, of course. I mean, does, like Adam said, it's got the one thing that's been missing from all of the Warner Brother movies is that human element. The Gareth Edwards Godzilla was the only one that tried to have that in there, where it was more following a family on the ground having to deal with these creatures running amok. But this is people dealing with some serious stuff. And the PTSD angle was great. And then you've got some surprises with some of the supporting characters later that pop up and come back to keep the story going, which is something you don't really see. Supporting characters don't usually get any kind of arc whatsoever. They're just there to tag along. And you've got the clear Jaws references at the end during the finale. I mean, I ate it up.
They did get bigger boats.
Yeah. I mean,
Definitely
you
did.
have to.
I think there's bigger everything in this movie. It's on a scale that I haven't seen before. I've not seen many of the Japanese films, if I'm honest. I've only seen the most recent Godzilla movies that Brooks just referenced. So my experience level with this world is pretty recent compared to you guys. But
Your poor soul.
yeah, I know. I'll try to catch up. The movie is not only an incredible visual spectacle. You guys are right about the human stories. I think they're really compelling. They're really well told. There is something about Japanese style acting compared to American acting. It's a little bit jarring at first because it's emotionally so heart on the sleeve. It's very in your face, the emotion of the characters. I don't want to say it's not subtle because that makes it seems like it's not nuanced. It's very
It is for
nuanced.
them, yeah.
It's just very direct. It's extremely emotionally direct. So it takes a little getting used to if you haven't seen a lot of Japanese film. Do you guys think that the human aspect of this story was made better by how good the Godzilla depictions are? If that was corny, I don't think the human parts of this story would have worked as well. But the Godzilla stuff looks so real.
I mean, I would definitely go with that, yeah, because it's a great personal and emotional journey. But if Godzilla just showed up as a guy in a suit, it'd be like, okay, we're back into Hokieville again, because that's what American audiences have expected kind of from these old-timey Godzilla films. But yeah, they nailed it. I mean, there's some times where the monster looks a bit hokey, but it's like close-ups on it, and you're like,
it's more kind of just in his movements kind of seemed odd, but I think it's just because they were really taking the time to show how something that big would move, because when you see him in the water, it's a whole different story.
Well, the one thing that's always stood out about the Godzilla movies, especially the ones made in Japan, and even though I haven't seen many of them, I've seen the clips. No matter how good the stuff around it was, it always looked like a guy wearing a costume. This doesn't look like that at all.
No.
No.
Excellent computer work. That monster, even though it might move in a little bit of a strange way compared to the US version, it's consistent all the way through the film. The story did get a little bit complicated in terms of how they were planning to deal with Godzilla, the people. And I wonder if you guys agree that made it a little bit less fun at the end.
That was, for me, was where it actually ramped up the fun.
Really?
Because it was the people coming together. They had this plan. And it was something you hadn't seen before. And I never would have thought to do that.
Now, forgive me.
And they've never done it before. And I loved it.
Forgive me, Brooks, but I know how dumb this is going to sound because we're talking about a monster movie, but their plan was so silly. It was so ridiculous.
That's so perfect.
But it just seems so overly engineered and ridiculous.
I mean, it did, but they made the point that we're the only ones here. So we have scientists, we have people who have some idea of how all these different things work together. And in all honesty, their idea was pretty sound. I mean, it worked on the physics and everything we know about the oceans and other things. And if you did that to a person, they wouldn't be doing very well. So why not try it on a big, huge, freaking monster?
Well, we'll leave it for people to see the film to decide whether or not it works as a story beat. The movie doesn't have as much monster footage as I expected. And it didn't bother me, actually. I didn't mind the character building of the humans. I didn't mind, even though I feel like their plan was kind of bonkers. I didn't mind like the montage stuff and the fun they took with building up the human side of this. Do you guys agree that the balances were pretty good, even though it might be less monster than people are expecting?
For me, it's the amount of monster you'd expect from these movies. Because if you go back and watch the old ones, they're not in it that much unless you get into something like Destroy All Monsters, where it's supposed to be a monster palooza. But otherwise, yeah, this, and even the MonsterVerse movies, the new ones with Monarch, they're not in it that much. Aside, Kong was in Kong versus Godzilla more than anybody.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Godzilla was like a supporting player, but Kong obviously can be with the humans all the time if needed as a character. So that made sense. But yeah, otherwise, you rarely see Godzilla in these movies until he's attacking something.
What do you think, Adam?
If they would have kept on dropping Godzilla in over and over and over again, it would have. It's like the law of diminishing results, right? Whatever it's called, where the more you give of something, the less you get back.
Yeah, of course.
And I think they hit it on. Maybe one more time would have been fun,
Yeah.
but you get plenty of Godzilla. Trust me.
I don't want to give a lot away in terms of the plot, but there's one moment that I want viewers to really pay attention to, because I talked about subtlety before. I think this was a very subtle kind of filmmaking. There's a moment where the atomic breath thing happens, and it's while Godzilla's in a town and wipes out everything and everybody, except, of course, our main character. Don't get me started on how he survives it, but he does. And the place that he is relative to where Godzilla is standing is just, I don't know, half a dozen blocks or something. And when he sort of steps out of his safe place, you in your mind know Godzilla's just like 6 blocks away, but it's silent. And eventually, after he takes in his surroundings, he looks over and Godzilla's just still standing there, quiet. It's a gorgeous moment. And this movie does have a couple of those moments where it lifts itself above just monster fare into what I think is really high-level filmmaking.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it's dealing with other nuclear stuff. Is that scene was reminiscent for me of the atomic bomb test in Oppenheimer,
Totally.
where it was completely silent, and it was, again, that beautiful piece of filmmaking that totally encapsulates and represents what was happening in that moment of time.
Let's score this sucker. I think it's pretty clear to anybody listening that we all liked it. I went into it with the lowest expectations of the three of us, I dare say, and I came out of it very excited. This, to me, is a solid 3-star experience. I had such a good time with it. The effects are fantastic. The storytelling's great. Like I said, it's got a couple of those really high-level filmmaking moments. I can't believe that a movie with subtitles is doing this well in the United States. It does my heart so good to know that. So 3 stars for me. Where are you, Brooks?
I think people won't be surprised if I give it 4 sailing ships through the air.
4
That's
bigger
my favorite
boats.
part of the movie.
He does
4
throw a
bigger
lot of boats.
That one moment where I think it was really quiet, and all of a sudden this big ship just goes flying through the air. And
Yeah.
it's like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So it's breathtaking, gorgeously made, super well acted. I think it's very well written, even with the way they finally just figure out how they want to dispose of their problem. And Takashi Yamazaki just hits every nail on the head. 4 stars.
The only thing we disagree on is I think they built an unnecessarily complicated Rube Goldberg puzzle, but you're at 4 stars. All right, Adam, where are you?
I'm sitting with you at 3.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely up there with my top 5 Godzilla movies of all time. Don't ask me what they are, because I haven't seen them in a very long time, and I'd have to go flip through all my collection and figure that out. But I loved how it was a very human story. It was very personal. It dealt with PTSD, and as we're seeing kind of more of mental health stuff come to light, it's great to see that that's also being presented in other cultures too. I had a blast, and I highly recommend going to see this in as big a screen as you possibly can. And I would probably say please bring earbuds, because I couldn't imagine how loud this would be in IMAX. We just saw it in XD.
This is the first time a movie has made my ears crackle.
Definitely something, if your hearing is the least bit sensitive, you want to be very careful about. So 3 stars for me. Brooks?
4.
Adam?
3.
3 stars as well for Godzilla -1, a Japanese version of the long-running monster story. It's really, really good. Go see it. When we come back, we are going to take the rightest turn you can ever imagine. This movie could not be more distant from Godzilla -1. I'm talking about Emerald Fennell's latest, Saltburn. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off. We're going to review Saltburn next. Before Adam tells us the story, let's listen to some of the trailer.
You all right?
Yeah, I've got a flat tire.
Take my bike.
Hey, that is so kind. Thank you. I'm sorry I don't know your name. I'm Felix.
Oliver.
Oliver. Oliver, I love you. I love you. All right, cheers, Ollie.
My parents, they've got problems.
What kind of? What do you mean problems?
I don't think I'll ever go home again.
Well, why don't you come home with me? Come to Saltburn.
Okay, Adam, tell us.
All right, so the story starts up at Oxford University in the UK. We meet Oliver Quick, who is played by Barry Keoghan, who we know last year from Banshees of Inisherin. He's only there because he's on a scholarship. His parents are druggies, just had a really tough life. So he's kind of looked down on by all the wealthy people who go there. But he does actually end up meeting Felix Catton, who's played by Jacob Elordi, who we just saw in Priscilla as Elvis, who's a popular kid. He's really rich. And they strike up a friendship. Kind of feels like Jacob feels bad for him at first, but then they actually do become good friends. And Felix invites Oliver to come stay at his family estate over the summer, his estate Saltburn. And he goes there, meets his crazy, vapid, like self-absorbed family, his parents, sister, all these just like wicked, evil people you just would not want to be friends with, but they're fun to watch in a movie. But then we start realizing maybe Oliver's got some ulterior motives. There's some weird stuff going on. Some things take place with a vampire and a bathtub, and then you're like, what the heck am I watching? And then it leads to one of the strangest things I've ever seen in a movie ending-wise. It takes you for a spin.
It's hard to say much more than you just said without ruining this experience for people. So we're going to have to tread very lightly, guys.
Yeah, but also by saying what I said, like if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, you're like,
totally.
What the heck is a vampire bathtub have to do? Is that like a band coming to Warped Tour? Like, I don't understand.
If you've seen it, you know. If you're going to see it, you will know. Believe
you will
me.
know, yes.
This movie is Talented Mr. Ripley and Call Me by Your Name having a baby. It is very strange, very unique, and very good, which shouldn't surprise us coming from Emerald Fennell. She made her name as an actor, but her directing debut was on Promising Young Woman, the Carey Mulligan vehicle that came out, as Adam told us earlier, 3 years ago. That was a huge surprise that year, a hugely positive surprise, like an excellent revenge fable that just blew everyone away, got a lot of awards nominations. This movie is nothing like that, except that it's very stylized. And I think helping to set up Emerald Fennell as one of our more interesting directors these days. What do you think, Brooks?
I'm going back on what Adam said with the family aspect is just, it's these horrible, vapid people, but yeah, they're fun. Way more fun than you'd think. And honestly, Adam may have overhyped it. I was expecting, honestly, the movie to be way worse than it is, which is interesting to say considering what does happen in the movie.
You mean way weirder?
Yeah, just gross or something like that. I don't know.
Well, because
I don't know what I had in my head, but
because some people were seeing it and during certain scenes in theaters, they were vomiting. And I didn't see anything like that. But at the same time, I was like, that's still kind of gross. Like, I'm not sure what I think about that, but I wouldn't do that personally. That's not my kink. So, if you want to, I support your ability to do what you want with a consenting adult, but I will not. So,
these are some extreme kinks, but
there's nothing barf-worthy in this movie. I don't want people to think that's
so.
What they're getting into, but there are definitely a couple scenes that will make you catch your breath, that are shocking intentionally. Jacob Elordi, by the way, if anyone is curious, you might have seen him in the news recently because he reportedly turned down James Gunn to be the next Superman. You see him in this movie. He's 6'5", good-looking guy. He could definitely pull it off, I think.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, he knows himself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if James Gunn came to me and said, here's a truckload of money to be Superman, I'll be like, how fast can I get in shape? So
you and me both. Brooks, we overhyped it for you, Adam and I, because we wouldn't stop talking about it. How did you come down on the experience as a whole? Forget the weird moments. What did you think of the film?
I mean, Barry's great. He's fantastic. He usually annoys the crap out of me. But in this, he's fantastic from the start. And then when some other things start happening, it really pulls you in and you can't wait to see where it's going. And Jacob Elordi was honestly so sympathetic, which is weird because he's, the rich elitist kid who's taking this poor young buck there, under his wing and inviting him to his summer home and taking a chance on the weird one, so to speak.
The creepy friend, basically.
Yeah. Rosamund was amazing.
Oh, yes.
And Richard E. Grant is always great. And you get your Carey Mulligan cameo because of the director. It takes you on a ride you will never forget, especially right before the credits roll.
It sure does. And I do agree about the performances. It's cast extremely well. Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant are excellent in their roles. And Jacob Elordi, too. He's sympathetic is a great word, Brooks, because of the family, he's the sweet boy. He's the one that's got the most grounded view of the world. And you do bond with him as a viewer, especially as Oliver starts to depart from the reality you think that you're inhabiting. So, Adam, I feel like this movie could have been called Slow Burn, not Saltburn, because I think it unspools in a very measured, very patient way. What do you think of the pacing?
Well, this is one of those ones I went into completely blind, knowing nothing about it. And I recommend people do that because, as we've kind of been discussing, we don't want to give too much away. But it was like a steady IV drip where it was just the right amount to keep you going like, okay, this is interesting. And then you're like, okay, this is odd. Oh, really? Oh, good for him. Oh, no. But it does it in a way where it's building the tension and the reactions from you at the perfect rate to where when everything just kind of goes all to hell and you're like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It got there in a way that you weren't like, you were surprised by what was happening, but you weren't surprised that it went there because it let it unravel just the right way. So as far as I'm concerned, the pacing is flawless on this. When it ends, you're glad for it to end. It's like, you know what, we've done our thing. We don't need any more of this. Barry Keoghan's a creepy, weird little dude. Proves it again. Also, I will say with him, when he was in the Batman, and not many people realize this, because when the Batman came out, they had this whole online contest, not a contest, but like a riddle, like the Riddler had set up. And if you followed all the clues and went to all his websites, you found a link to a deleted scene of Batman interviewing him as the Joker in Arkham. You can just go on YouTube now and find it easily, but you don't really see him too much. You kind of see him through like the window. I want to see him as the Joker in whatever the Batman 2 is going to be. Yeah, exactly. So
even more so.
And I've always been a big fan of his. He was up for me last year with Banshees of Inisherin. So kind of a side note from your question, Counts, but no, I think they just gave it to you the right speed, the right amount of time, and hooked you immediately once they get to Saltburn. Because the opening part's kind of stereotypical, poor kid at the rich kid place. If you're bored at first, get to Saltburn and you'll be glad you got there.
You don't know what you're in for until you get to the mansion. And I think that was on purpose. And the thing I loved about Fennell's pacing of this story is that normally in these kind of creepy building discomfort movies, the line, if you drew a line on a piece of paper that showed the rising tension, it would be pretty flat. It would be a rise, but it'd be pretty flat. But she has spikes in there, like the bathtub scene, that are like, whoa, what? And then you're brought back to the same baseline that you were on before as things sort of gradually progress. Those spikes, I think, make this a unique experience for this kind of film. Brooks, what's your take on the pacing? I mean, did you feel like it was too slow, or does it work the way it should?
It's pretty perfect. I think that like the way it's paced, it pulls us in the exact same way it does as the characters on screen. It's like it just kind of blindsides you. And I think for that, it's just perfect.
Let's talk a little bit about the ending. We can't say much about what actually happens, but this movie ends pretty definitively. I think it stretches the suspension of disbelief slightly, that the events could have actually happened that sequentially and perfectly for a certain person. Did you buy it, Adam?
Yes, I did. And also that was the part where I was like, oh, good for him. But and I can't really talk about it here, but I told both of you I had a nickname for this movie. And after you saw it, I kind of said what it was and why it was.
Right.
And I think the way it very distinctly ends, especially the very last scene, really does kind of sum up like who this character really was, and going back to their turn as the Joker, just kind of the chaos they were just invoking. And you can go back and talk about, hey, is this a thing of like the rich versus poor, the middle class, lower class, social class, whatever it is. And it very well could be one of the points that they're making. I didn't take it across that way. I just took it across as, okay, this is kind of demented, and maybe that the end was part of their plan. Or maybe it was just lucky happenstance that they crossed paths years down the road and they could put their final part of the plan in motion. I don't know. Or maybe they were just trying to get money. Who knows? but it does leave it up to a lot of really good kind of subjective interpretation. And there really is no wrong answer. Like, you really end this film and it ends definitively, but the who's and the whys behind it, there's a lot of conversation to be had. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people who are out at a coffee shop drinking coffee and getting stoned talking about it right now.
I think it's interesting that you took it as an optional aspect of it, the fact that it was planned from minute 1 to minute 120. For me, that was not in doubt at all. It felt like the movie was trying to tell me everything you've seen was planned. Brooks, did
very
you?
usual suspects.
Yeah. That's the way it felt to
Kaiser
me.
Soze.
But it seems like to you, Adam, it felt like it's open to interpretation to a degree, that there might have been some just luck and circumstance mixed in.
I think to
Just
start
for the
it,
very last part. I mean, everything
Yeah.
leading up to a certain point, what you could tell and was very, very orchestrated.
Yeah. You can hear us twisting ourselves in knots not to say more than we should, because we've been accused of being spoilers before, and we don't want to do that again. We want you to see this film and have a fresh experience. So before we go to scores, Brooks, I want to hear what you thought about production values, like how it looks, how it's cut. I felt like it was gorgeous and shot really beautifully and edited really well. What's your take on that?
I mean, the cinematography also feels very specific. Like, all of the shots are staged and probably even lit specific ways. I mean, she knows what she's doing with her tone, and she knew what she was doing with the editing, which helps the pace, and it all works together so great.
A lot of time spent on faces too. Which,
yes, a lot of close-ups.
Yeah, as a director, that's a choice. And something that's been very common in film, and I feel like in the last decade, is staying on an actor's face even while the other person's talking, so that you see them speak, then you watch the reaction. That, as an editing choice, I find to be really interesting. I'm seeing it in a lot of films these days. And for this movie in particular, staying on Barry while he's listening to responses to his weirdness was very effective. Adam, do you agree that production-wise, this is top-level filmmaking?
Oh, 100%. It's gorgeous. I mean, like Brooks, like you mentioned, like every scene is meticulously crafted, but it doesn't feel over-directed. Yeah. It's like they put a lot of thought into it, and they said, hey, we're going to make it look this way. Maybe they took a couple different takes to get it there, but it wasn't like Ben Affleck back in Argo, where you just felt there was this vice hold on it. Like, they did have some breathing room. So yeah, the production values are through the roof. It's gorgeous. It's as ugly as it is. I think that actually is what works well, is because you've got such a gorgeous area. It's shot so well that it really is such a great contrast and foil to the ugliness of these people.
Right.
And yeah, the way they film the faces and like those reactions are awesome. And they do a good job with it. Unlike the Les Mis movie, where you spent 90% of the film looking up Anne Hathaway's nose. So
that is the example of how to do it wrong. That is for
exactly.
Sure. That is for sure. We mentioned Carey Mulligan before. She is in this for a very brief period of time. That brief bit, though, is magic. She is fantastic. The character she plays is so memorable. I wish there had been a lot more of her. I'm really excited to see what Emerald Fennell does next. I think she's one of our great auteurs right now. I'm super excited about her as a director. Let's score it. Adam, you were the one who saw it first. You were the one that couldn't stop talking about it. I think we know where you are, but say it out loud.
It's hard because I've seen so much good stuff since then too, but I'm going to go with my initial score of a 4-star because it came out of nowhere. It surprised the heck out of me. It took me on this journey that I was completely surprised and mystified for, and ended exactly how it should have. I mean, I can't think of any other way the movie could have ended that would have been satisfactory. And I can't find fault with it. It's a great script. Everything of the filmmaking aspect is beautiful. It's very well done. The acting's fantastic. The script is, as you've heard, original. There's some interesting scenes at a graveyard. And honestly, the credits roll, and I just sat there and I was like, well, good for him.
I'm going to let you go last, Brooke, since you saw it last. I will score it 4 stars as well, Adam. I'm with you. It's daring filmmaking, and it worked. So I'm at 4 stars. Brooks, how about you?
I feel like if you two hadn't seen it before me and talked it up so much, I'd be at the 4 level. But I'm gonna go with 3.5, and I think it's just because of expectations. I just thought it was gonna be 2 hours of pure debauchery, and it's not. So I mean, I want to give it 4, and I'm so close. But can I do like 3 3/4?
That does go against the rules, so you're going to have to live with your 3.5. But we all know that it's a shaded upward 3.5.
Exactly.
All right, Adam, where are you?
4 stars.
I'm at 4 stars, Brooks.
3.5.
All right. It's a
I say
fan.
that like it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. That's a great score.
Exactly.
It's a fantastic movie.
I almost forgot. I even texted you guys that we needed to mention that it drops on Amazon Prime or Prime Video on the 22nd.
Yep. As we record,
So if you don't go see it, you can still watch it at home.
December
Yes,
22nd,
yep.
as we record, it drops on Prime. So make sure that you catch it that way if you don't get it in the theater. This one is not as critical to see in the theater
No.
as
No.
Godzilla. Yeah.
I mean,
And
we
what's
all
great
watched
is-
it at home.
It's just in time to watch with the family over Christmas.
I mean, who doesn't need a little dysfunction during the holidays?
Oh, this is not something to have your kids watch. This is a hard R. Trust me on that. We're going to come back in just a moment. And our guilty pleasures this week is Creepy Friend Edition. No big surprise there. I cannot wait to hear what you guys have come up with. Let's take a little break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Guilty Pleasures, Creepy Friend Edition in honor of Barry in Saltburn. Brooks, what's yours?
Well, I kind of struggled trying to think of like an actual creepy friend in the literal sense. So I went with my gut, bend the rules, and I'm going with Chucky and the Child's Play series.
Oh, there you go.
Because he's your friend to the end.
He is indeed, and he's creepy.
And yeah, and the new original series franchise was great. Even the remake, very few people have seen it, and it's amazing. And it's also a Christmas movie, just like the original. And then you've got the Chucky TV show. It's on like USA and Sci-Fi, and I think they also play it on Peacock. And it is just the most bonkers show you'll ever watch about a killer doll.
Chucky,
Yeah,
perfect.
whose kid is genderqueer. It was actually a very big thing
Exactly.
they did in Son of Chucky. And there's some great memes out there from the series that about disowning his kid because they're genderqueer. He's like, I'm not a monster. So
And is played by a human in the TV show.
It's not surprising, Brooks, that you went to Chucky. I actually thought you were going to say Megan because
I was going to.
I
but
thought you were going to do that.
we'll put that at my number 2.
I am really struggling with whether or not I want to even say mine out loud. So give me another minute to work through that, Adam. You go next.
So mine is Repo the Genetic Opera,
Oh.
which I don't know. Counts, have you heard of that one before?
No.
I tried to watch it.
Repo the Genetic Opera is the movie after, which I thought this one was a remake of. The new one was, it's about in the future everyone's to do surgery or needing new organs. So you buy like, hey, I need a heart transplant, I'm buying it on credit. Well, if you lapse on your payments, the repo man comes and takes your heart back. So it's got a pretty big all-star cast. I mean, you got Sarah Brightman as this creepy singer with fake eyes. Anthony Stewart Head is there from Buffy fame. Paris Hilton's there. You get to see her face fall off. So that's a lot of fun. It is just out there. It is so weird. The music is so much fun because a lot of these people are great singers. But as far as like the creepy friends, they're all creepy except for the little girl. You got a guy playing the grave robber who goes and gets stuff out of the dead people so they can put it into you so the surgery's not as bad. Sarah Brightman's crazy. It is the weirdest movie and it is not good, but it is a ton of fun and I love all the music. They did make a semi-sequel called The Devil's Carnival, I want to say, or something, and that was god-awful, so do not go there. But Repo, the Genetic Opera, you can even do like midnight screenings now. It's getting like Rocky Horror. And I think Joan Jett makes an appearance too. So
Oh my goodness. All right.
she does, yeah.
Mine is a lot more guilty than pleasure for reasons that will become apparent
it-
momentarily.
If you say Cujo,
I'm not going to say Cujo. I was thinking about creepy friends, people who have been weird sidekicks. And my brain immediately went to a movie that in its moment, I actually kind of liked. I can't even say it out loud because it stars 2 recently canceled people. It is Gore Verbinski's 2013 Lone Ranger. And I'm talking about Johnny Depp's
Oh,
Tonto. And all casual racism aside, which I realize I can't set aside because it is the main point of this, his depiction of that character is so weird. It's so death obsessed and strange and awkward. It's one of the weirdest performances of his career. Super
which is
inappropriate.
saying a lot.
It is saying a lot because, and this was by the team that brought you Jack Sparrow in all of those movies. So obviously it's totally not okay to enjoy a movie that Armie Hammer's in anymore. That's over.
Mm.
But I liked this movie when it came out. I thought the production values were
did too.
excellent. I thought that
too.
the special effects were
Originally.
fun. I thought that it was really well put together, but it does not age well. Frankly, it should have offended me deeply the first minute I saw it. It took me a while to get there. It's not okay. I don't want anyone to actually watch this film, but as guilty pleasures go, I have to be honest and say that mine is Gore Verbinski's Lone Ranger because of Johnny Depp. So let's just stop talking about that right now. Pretend I never said it.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
What?
You didn't share a guilty pleasure this week?
We're
Counts?
not
Like,
we're not
what's-
putting this on the internet or anything.
No way.
No.
Brooks, what's yours?
Chucky.
Adam?
Repo the Genetic Opera.
And mine was redacted. When we come back, we're going to do our coming attractions. These are things we are excited about. We'll be right back. We're back one last time on the Big Movie Mouth Off coming attractions section. I am very excited. I'm going to go in a direction that you almost always go, Adam, and it's video
Oh.
game adjacent. I'm really excited about season 2 of the Halo show that Paramount put out. I loved the first season. It didn't get amazing reviews. It absolutely departs from the games in several significant ways, but I never expect one art form to match another, literally. I don't care that the Lord of the Rings movies are different than the books. That never bothered me. So this is its own piece of art. I enjoyed being in that world. I enjoyed seeing special effects of modern prestige television brought to this property that I feel so much for. So I'm super excited in February for Halo season 2 to come out. Brooks, what's your coming attraction?
Well, obviously, it would be weird if I didn't mention Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. However, there is a movie coming out in January that I saw a trailer for before Godzilla -1 that just blew me away. I had no idea it existed, and it's ISS.
I saw that. Yeah, with you.
Yeah.
As in International Space Station?
Yes,
Yes.
it takes place on the space station. You've got America and Russia. The scientists are there floating around, and they spy out their little porthole that the world starts to explode. Not explode, but
What?
like apparently there's a war.
Like
and
thermonuclear war
Yeah.
breaks out.
all over the world. Just
Oh my
huge
God.
explosions. And then they are told to take control of the ship, and we'll see what happens.
I didn't know anything about this. They did not
I
show that
didn't
trailer
either.
for me. Wow. Okay, so ISS. I'm going to look that up as soon as we're done.
Oh, it's
Adam.
also got Ariana DeBose and Chris Messina.
Yeah,
Can't
it's
go
got
wrong.
some people in it. So
Can't go wrong.
Mhm.
Adam, what are you looking forward to?
So I'm looking forward to Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
As
Mad
we all
Max-
should be.
As we all should be, yes. Mad Max Fury Road was my favorite movie of the year. It's been my favorite movie, probably my top 10, I'd say, overall, because it was just so perfectly done. So we got George Miller coming back to write and direct. We've got Anya Taylor-Joy as young Furiosa. So this is her origin story. And we love her from everything that she's done. She's fantastic. We got Chris Hemsworth hopping in there. We get to see young Immortan Joe. So it takes place, I want to say, like, I think 30 years after the fall of mankind, before everything kind of is starting to go to hell and back kind of thing. But Miller's such a master at everything he does. And the practical effects they use, it scratches every itch of what I like in these sci-fi dystopian movies. So maybe Hunger Games can learn from it. But and Furiosa is such a great character, and Charlize Theron did an amazing job as well. So I just can't wait to see how this character evolves into who she becomes in the future movie. So I know we talk a lot about how prequels can have originitis and it can kind of set in, but I think if anyone can nail this and pull it off well, it's George Miller.
I think so too. And I think it's
Mhm.
also amazing that a beloved franchise like this that maybe didn't age well could have been reset so fantastically that you can tell a story without the main character in it. I mean, this movie isn't
Right.
about Max. I don't know if he's going to be in it or not, but it's definitely not his story. I'm with you on that one. So say again what you're looking forward to, Adam.
Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
I'm looking forward to the Halo show's second season on Paramount Plus. Brooks, you?
ISS.
I didn't even know about that one, and I'm supposed to be in this business, so thank you for that, Brooks.
It looks like what one of the Call of Duties where they went to space should have been.
Yeah.
No.
All right, guys. So much fun to talk to you about Godzilla -1 and
Mhm.
Saltburn. We think you should see both of those films. We are going to come back in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk about our top 5, each of us, our top 5 films of the year. And if you remember last year, we had a lot of crossover, but also some debates about what order they should be in. So look forward to that. Until then, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
This is Big Movie Mouth Off. Thanks for listening. Big Movie Mouth Off was produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Adam McDonald and Brooks Bird. Our theme music is written by Brian Z. Richards, and this show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.